7 organizations are offering free Christmas assistance to SNAP recipients. I'm going to give you the list of those organizations and how you can apply. Also, there are 5 big changes coming to SNAP benefits in 2024 starting in January. I want to bring you up to date on that because this is going to affect everybody receiving benefits. And then you want to stay till the end of this video because there's news about extra food stamps. Yes, extra food stamps are back. And some states have started approving benefits starting in January. So I'm going to give you details about that. So let's jump right into it. So here's what I want to cover today. 7 organizations are approving people for free Christmas assistance. So I'm going to walk you through and how to apply. And then changes that are coming to food stamps starting in January, including income limits and benefits amount. And then also work requirements. Number 3, extra food stamps. Yes, they're back. I know they went away last year, but some states have decided to bring them back because of what is happening with inflation and rising cost of food. And then if you know somebody on Social Security or disability benefits, or you are on Social Security and disability benefits, you want to pay attention because the Social Security Administration is about to issue 1 million letters that are going to suspend some benefits because of overpayments. This is serious. 60 Minutes did a story about it recently, so I'm going to bring you the details about that. And more importantly, if you receive one of these letters, you will know exactly what to do and how to respond. And then lastly, there are 65,000 lottery winners that are on food stamps. That is illegal. So I'm going to walk you through what is happening there so that if you are one of those people, you know exactly what to do because you are breaking the law. So if you are new to this channel, I want to urge you to hit the subscribe button because all we do is bring you the latest news and updates about anything in and out of Congress that will affect your SNAP benefits. So let's jump right into it. So the first thing I want to cover is the free Christmas assistance available to SNAP recipients. The first organization offering this program is the Salvation Army Angel Tree Program. This program provides clothing and toys to more than 1 million children every year. The child is accepted for the Angel Tree program, and then the donor can shop for the family's Christmas list. That is how the program works. And once the gifts are received, then the Salvation Army will then distribute the gifts to the family just in time for Christmas. So how do you apply for this program? You have to go to the Salvation Army USA website and find your local Salvation Army and then apply through them. This program has been around for a very long time. It's very credible. It's a very reputable program. So it's definitely worth applying. So the second organization is Be an Elf Free Toy Program. This is a non-profit organization that helps underprivileged children receive gifts during Christmas. And individuals can adopt real letters and send gifts directly to children in need. One of the reasons why I like this program is that there's no middleman to control anything. Once the person selects a letter and wants to adopt that person, they can send the gifts directly to the child. So it is really eliminating a lot of the red tape that is happening when some of these programs are run. So if you want to apply, go to beanelf.org to apply. The third organization, which is a very popular one, is Toy for Tots. It's a national organization that helps the less fortunate during the holiday season. They work with local agencies to deliver unwrapped Christmas toys and gifts for kids. So what you need to do to apply is you need to go to the toysfortots.org website and then use their map to find a local organization in your area that is running the program. You can apply through them, and then they will run the donations and help you figure out how you can get gifts for your kids this Christmas season. So when you go to their website, you can click on Request a Toy or find a local chapter as you can see on the screen. The fourth organization is Operation Homefront Holiday Toy Giveaway. This is a very important organization for military families because they help military families during the holiday season. So if you know somebody that's in the military, you might want to alert them about this. For over a decade, they've partnered with Dollar Tree to provide military families with support during the holiday season. So to participate, you have to register on their website, and then once you are eligible for the event, it will appear on your account. Once you register and you're selected, you see it on your dashboard, and then you'll be given instructions on how to receive the benefit. So here's how to apply. Go to operationshomefront.org, holiday toy giveaway section, and you'll get the full details on how to apply for this benefit. And then we have the Santa Helpers Foundation. This foundation's mission is to bring joy to children while helping relieve poverty. So each year they donate food, clothing, and give to low-income families during the holiday season. So to receive a free toy through the Santa Helpers Foundation, you have to submit an application through their website. So here's what to do. First, you have to know that registration closes on December the 10th, 2023. So you have to act soon. Go to their website at santahelpersfoundation.org and then apply. And once you are approved, they'll walk you through how you can receive gifts for your children. And then we have the USPS, United States Postal Service, Santa Operation. So for over 100 years, the Postal Service has been hosting the Operation Santa. The initiative allows children and families from over the United States to write letters to Santa sharing their Christmas wishes. This is a beautiful program, and what they do is that then donors can then adopt a letter and then make the wish come true for the child that wrote the letter. So it is a beautiful program. To apply, go to USPSOperationsCenter.com to get details about how to apply. And then, last but not the least, Free Christmas Tree Program. Now, this organization is a nonprofit that their full mission is to provide decorated Christmas trees to thousands of families who cannot afford them during the holidays. So, they are one of the largest organizations providing free Christmas trees to low-income families during the holidays. So, to apply, go to the ChristmasTreeProject.org and then click on Request a Tree to be able to get a tree sent to you. So, those are the 7 organizations that provide free Christmas gifts and clothing and toys to families in need. But to apply, you have to go to each of those organization websites, as I have shown you, and apply in time because they have deadlines that you must meet in order to qualify for their program this year. So that is the first thing I want to cover this year. If there's another organization that you know about, or you've dealt with an organization, or if you have an experience with any of these organizations that I've talked about, you can give us a comment in the comment section below to share your experience on what happened and how that worked out for you. So next, I want to talk about the big changes that are coming in 2024 for SNAP. Now, every year, SNAP has changes that happen that begin in January, but in 2024, particularly, the changes are quite significant. So I want to walk you through them so that you get a full understanding and have an expectation of what is going to happen. So the first one is the maximum benefit for 2024. Now, each year, based on inflation, the maximum benefit is adjusted. So for the 48 states and Washington, D.C., it's going to be $973 for a family of 4. In Alaska, which has a different maximum benefit, is going to be $1,248 and growing to $1,937 for a family of 4. In Guam, it's going to be $1,434 for a family of 4. The U.S. Virgin Islands, $1,251 for a family of 4. And then Hawaii, which is the only maximum benefit that will be decreasing for 2024, this is going to be $1,759 for a family of 4. This started in October 1st and runs all the way to 2024 to September 30th, 2024. So what does it look like for the 48 states and Washington, D.C.? Well, if you are a single person receiving SNAP benefits, you're going to get $291. If you're a family of 2, $535, a family of 3, $776, and as I mentioned before, a family of 4 is going to get $973 and so forth. Now, if you have more than 8 people in your family, then you have to add an additional $219 for each additional person. So that's the first change that is coming. The second one is about the minimum benefits and deduction. Each year, there is a minimum benefit that if you qualify for SNAP based on your income, you can receive. And the minimum they can give you in any state, in the 48 states and DC, is $23. It used to be $16. It moved a little bit last year. Now it's going to $23. That's the minimum you can get. Now, there are deductions that also change every year. Why is that important? Because deductions are what is taken from your gross income to arrive at your net income. Those are the two income qualifications, which I'm going to talk about in a second. But here we're talking about deductions. So the shelter cap is increasing from $672, and the homeless maximum shelter deduction is increasing to $179. This applies to the 48 states, DC, Alaska, Guam, Hawaii, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. Now, the minimum standard deduction for a household size 1 through 3 is going to be $198 a month. Again, for the 48 states, DC, Alaska, Guam, Hawaii, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. The third change that is coming is the resource limit. That is unchanged for the 48 states and DC, Alaska, Guam, Hawaii, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. It is staying at $2,750 for a household and $4,250 for households with at least one person age 60 or older or has a disabled person. Why is the resource limit important? Because as part of qualifications to receive SNAP benefits, you cannot have resource limits more than this threshold if your state requires you to meet a resource limit. Some states do not implement or require a resource limit, but for the states that do, this is the federal guidelines that they must meet. This is the minimum federal guidelines for resources that they must meet to approve you for SNAP benefits. The fourth change that is coming is the income limit. No matter what you do, if you're applying for SNAP, the biggest thing that you have to worry about is the income limit. That is what trips up a lot of people. So it's important to know. And also, while you are on SNAP, you have to still meet the income limit to continue to receive benefits. That is why this fourth update is important. Number one, for DC, the 48 states, Guam, and Virgin Islands, the gross income limit for one person is $1,580. For a family of 4 is $3,250. For a family of 6 is $4,364. As you can see, it's different for Alaska. So for a single person in Alaska, the income limit for gross is $1,973, and for Hawaii, it's $1,817. For a family of 4 in Hawaii, it's $3,738, and in Alaska, it's $4,063. So as you can see, the income limit increases as the household size increases. And for Alaska and Hawaii, their income limits, their gross income limit is higher. Now, the gross income limit, the minimum level that the federal government has set for food stamps, is 130% of the federal poverty level. So that grows every year because of inflation. It's adjusted for inflation each year. So this is the amount that is available and stays from now until September 30th, 2024. So that is when it's effective. Next, we talk about the net income limit. That is also adjusted every year. And as you can see, it is 100% of the federal poverty level. So for a single person applying for food stamps or continuing to receive food stamps, it's $1,215 for the 48 states, DC, Guam, and the Virgin Islands. For Hawaii, it's $1,398, and for Alaska, it's $1,518. For a family of 4, in the 48 states and territories, it's $2,500. For Alaska, it's $3,125, and for Hawaii, it's $2,875. Why is this important? Because you have to meet both the gross and net income limit to qualify for SNAP benefits, unless you are in a household with an elderly or a disabled person. So there is a separate income for households with elderly and disabled, they have to meet a gross income limit of 165% of the federal poverty level. What does that look like? It means that if you're a single person applying and you fit that criteria, you cannot have more than $2,005 in income if you live in the 48 states and territories. In Alaska, it's $2,504, and in Hawaii, it's $2,306. If you're a family of 4, in the 48 states and territories, it's $4,125. Alaska is $5,157, and Hawaii is $4,744. So this is the gross income limit for households where there's an elderly person 60 years or older, or there's a disabled person. And this is effective October 1st, 2023 to September the 30th, 2024. So the fifth change that is coming, which is a big one, is about work requirements. Congress has been beating this drum for a long time, trying to increase the work requirements, and the Republicans in Congress are dead set on making sure that all these exemptions that exist for able-bodied adults without children or dependents are closed. So they made a change recently, and what it means is this. Let me explain fully what this change is about, because it's going to impact a lot of people. If you're ages 18 and 52, you already need to prove that you are working at least 80 hours a month, or pursuing an education, or you are in a training program to qualify for SNAP for more than 3 months. So let me say that again. If you are between 18 and 52, to get SNAP, to get food stamps for more than 3 months, you have to prove that you're working at least 80 hours a month. You are either pursuing an education, or you are in an approved training program to get SNAP for more than 3 months. Now, starting in October 1st, 2023, able-bodied adults without dependents who are 51 and 52 years old will now need to meet those requirements to receive SNAP. And then, starting in October 2024, that age requirement increases to 54. So anybody between 18 and 54 would then have to meet that requirement. So it's creeping up. It used to be 18 to 49, and then it went to 51 to 52, and then now it's going to 54. So this is something to pay attention to. So those are the 5 SNAP changes that are coming in 2024 that you need to pay attention to. And next, I want us to talk about extra food stamps, which is great news for people who are struggling to buy food because of inflation and how much food prices have gone up. So I'm going to give you the details of what is happening with extra food stamps and the states that have started approving this benefit for people in need. So if you remember, as part of the COVID efforts that the government implemented, they were approving extra food stamps, and that ended. That went on for about 3 years, and a lot of people who needed help benefited from those extra food stamps because of inflation. It helped people make ends meet. Now that went away, and a lot of people have been struggling because extra food stamps are no more. Well, states have seen that problem and are trying to step in because of rising costs and inflation, where food prices have gone up and stayed up. So states are stepping in to help families in need. So you're going to see a list of states come up and do this. But in the beginning, we have 2 states that have kicked it off. And so as of December 2023, you have the DC and New Jersey that have started, and we expect states to follow. So every single month, we're going to be doing a food stamps news and update to help you know when your state will be issuing extra food stamps, if they want to do that at all. So you may want to subscribe to this channel, because we want to stay on top of this story every single month and bring you news, because we think this is going to be a trend because of how crushing inflation has been. So let's talk about what DC and New Jersey are doing so that you can get an idea of what your state might do. So DC recipients are going to get 10% increase in their monthly food stamp in 2024. And this takes effect in January 1st, 2024 and runs through September 30th, 2024. That is the initial rollout, and then we'll see what happens. So this is as a result of legislation passed called the Give SNAP a Raise Amendment Act of 2022. This increase will be equal to 10% of a household federal monthly allotment. So whatever you're getting in food stamps from the federal government, DC will give you 10% more, and the increase in benefits is permanent for DC food stamp recipients. And so we will see how this unfolds. It's supposed to go to September 30th, but the way things are going, I won't be surprised if it is increased or extended. New Jersey recipients, SNAP recipients, will be receiving a minimum of $95 in monthly food stamps through 2024. This means that if you are on a monthly food stamp recipient and you're getting less than $95, you will receive the difference to ensure that you receive at least $95 in benefit each month. Remember, the federal minimum is $23. So if you were getting the federal minimum, New Jersey is going to bump you up to $95. With the SNAP benefit set at $23, this is going to help people who have been stuck at the minimum benefit. $23, I don't even know what it can buy you these days. I mean, can it even buy you like a bag of groceries? Probably not. So $95 is a big deal, and I think that this is where other states are going to follow. So stay tuned. We're going to give you, and we're going to update this presentation as and when more states are added to the extra food stamp movement that is happening since the federal government ended theirs. So now let's talk about one of the biggest stories of the moment. A lot of people on food stamps are also on Social Security or disability benefits or both, or may know somebody in their family that is on Social Security. So pay attention to this story. 1 million people are at risk of losing their benefits or getting their benefits suspended because of overpayment. 60 Minutes did a story recently, which I found to be one of the most profound and bizarre stories ever done about overpayments and Social Security. So Anderson Cooper of CNN did this story, and I think he did a phenomenal job of explaining what was happening. So let me fill you in on this crazy story. And the title alone gives it away. It says, "Our mistake is your responsibility." The Social Security Administration is making mistakes in calculating people's benefits, and then they turn around and then come and ask you to pay for that mistake in 30 days. So let's walk through this. So why is this even important? 71 million people rely on Social Security benefits on a monthly basis, but each year, 1 million people receive overpayment letters, sometimes amounting to tens of thousands of dollars. These overpayments occur due to miscalculations by the Social Security Administration, and the debt that emerges are crushing for some people because all of a sudden they send you a letter that you owe $50,000, $70,000, and you have to pay it in 30 days. So let me walk you through what happened. So 60 Minutes featured 3 stories. The first one is of Stephen and Becky Sword, and here is what happened with them. They live in Chicago, and they received a letter from the Social Security Administration that they owe $51,887, and they had 30 days to pay it back. Who has 30 days to pay $51,887 when you're on Social Security or disability benefits? So let's hear what happened here. So the husband, Stephen, became ill and then got on disability benefits. But while on disability, he was still able to work a little bit. And this is common or allowed. The Social Security Administration encourages people on disability who can work a little bit to work. There's a program called Ticket to Work. There's trial to work programs where you can test and see if you will be able to work a little bit. Now, if you're working, you have to report your earnings to the Social Security Administration because they have to adjust your benefits, because you cannot work and then claim full disability benefits. So they have to take some of your disability benefits because you are making more money while you work. So you have to report all your income to them, and then on a monthly basis, they will make adjustments to your next month's benefit. Well, the Sword says they were doing that. They were sending all his information to the Social Security Administration. They were staying on top of it, and yet years went by, and nothing happened, and then they got hit with a bill. $51,887. They had 30 days to pay for it. They were shocked. They tried to appeal it. They were denied. They applied for a waiver, and a waiver means that they are telling the Social Security Administration that they cannot pay this money, and if the Social Security Administration takes a portion of their benefits, it's going to cause them financial hardship. Well, they were denied. So this caused tremendous pressure on them, so much stress that they were willing to give their only life savings. All the life savings that they have right now is about $60,000. They were willing to hand it over to the Social Security Administration to make this thing go away. But there's a twist, which I'm going to update you in a second. But let's look at the second story. So this is Glenn and Jean. And this story is even more bizarre because the wife, Jean, she received a letter from the Social Security Administration that she owes $72,000 and had 30 days to pay it back. So what happened? Well, she got on Social Security benefits 6 years ago. And here's what happened. When the Social Security Administration was calculating how much benefits she was eligible for, they made a mistake. So they were sending her more Social Security benefits than she was eligible for. But this is Social Security making the error in calculating her benefits. So for 4 years, she's been receiving more Social Security benefits than she was eligible for. And then when the Social Security Administration woke up and found out and realized what was happening, they not only sent her a letter for $72,000, they cut off her Social Security benefits. They suspended her benefits. She has not received any benefit in 2 years. So this is somebody that has worked and contributed to Social Security. She started claiming her benefits when she was eligible. And unbeknownst to her, the Social Security Administration made an error and were paying her more than she should have received. And now her benefits have been cut off. Again, she applied, appealed it. She was denied. She appealed for a waiver. She was denied. But there's another twist. So stay tuned. And the third story is even more bizarre. And I mean this because if you thought the first two were more bizarre, this is even crazier. So this is a story of Roy Farmer. And when he was a child, he was diagnosed with cerebral palsy. So he was on disability benefits, and his mom was receiving disability benefits to take care of him. Well, at some point, the Social Security Administration decided that he was not eligible for disability benefits anymore. And it was around the time when he was age 11. So they stopped sending him benefits. But here's the kicker. They said that not only did they stop sending him Social Security or cut off his benefits, that also, in addition to that, they figured that they were paying him $4,920 more than he should have received. So now he's in his 20s, and then he received this bill. Now, the money was sent to his mom to take care of him, and his mom has still since passed away. But now the Social Security Administration is coming after him as an adult to pay for money that they had sent to his mom to take care of him when he was a child. Crazy, but it's happening. Why did they think that they could do this? Because they say they looked at his situation, and because he's working, they think he can afford to pay it back. That's it. Crazy. So these three stories caught the attention of Congress. Obviously, there's been a lot of people who have been impacted by this. So Congress brought the temporary or the interim head of the Social Security Administration to Congress to do a hearing. It's a big theater. You know how congressional hearings go. It's a big theater, and the senators and the Congress people will ask all these questions for the cameras, but not much happens. So if you've been impacted by this, or if you receive a letter, or if you think you're going to receive a letter, pay attention. I'm going to give you 3 things that you can do if you receive an overpayment letter. So, why is this even happening? Well, it's because of lack of accountability from the Social Security Administration. Because Why are they going after people years after they've received money that they didn't even know they were receiving? And two, these are vulnerable people who are on Social Security, disability. Nobody has 82,000, 72,000, 60,000, 50,000 sitting down to pay in 30 days. So the whole system doesn't make sense because you're going after people who are already struggling and receiving very little money to begin with, and then you're sending them insane bills to pay within 30 days, or they're going to lose all or a portion of their benefits. It's really crazy. So this problem is even compounded because the Social Security Administration is understaffed. More people are receiving Social Security benefits than ever, 71 million, and yet there's an all-time shortage in people working at Social Security. So it's also compounding the problem, but the Social Security Administration continues to push forward to get the money they think the government is owed back. So here's what experts are saying. They're suggesting that Congress should step in and do two things. Number one, put a study of limitation on when the Social Security Administration can go after people once there's an overpayment. Why can they go after people after 4 years? Why not maybe 6 months or a year? Number two, they need to be restructuring to the payment plan process, because when you're put on a payment plan, especially people on disability benefits, that is very crushing to the little money they're already receiving, which is not even enough to live off of. Now they have to give some of it back to pay this overpayment. So these are the two things that Congress can do. But as I said, a lot of time these congressional hearings are just theater and then nothing happens. So let's hope that something changes. But how about you? If you receive an overpayment letter, there are three things that you can do. Number one, if you have the money, you can pay it back. A lot of people don't. So they go to the next step. Number two is apply an appeal. When you receive the letter from the Social Security Administration, they're going to give you 60 days to file an appeal. Here's what I'm going to tell you. File that appeal within 30 days. Here's why. After 30 days, the Social Security Administration is allowed to start collection activities. They can then go after your benefits, take all of it or take some of it to pay for the overpayment. But when you file your appeal within 30 days, then they cannot, by law, do anything regarding collection until they've made a decision on your appeal. So it is important that you file appeal within 30 days, and it has to be received within 30 days for them to stop any collection activity until they've ruled on your appeal. If your appeal is denied, then the next thing you can do is to file for a waiver. A waiver is essentially telling the Social Security Administration that, hey, I cannot pay this, and if you take some of my benefits to pay it, I am not going to be able to financially be able to make ends meet. It's going to put a lot of financial pressure on me if you take some of my benefits to pay this back. And if you receive a letter that you owe $72,000, it's going to take you probably 20 years if they are taking a portion of your Social Security benefits to be able to pay it back. That is such a long time to be paying something that you didn't even cause. So the waiver is to say that you cannot pay it back. If your waiver is denied, then you have one last card you can play, which is to request a hearing before an administrative judge. This is a legal proceeding before a Social Security administrative judge, so you may want to get an attorney to help you go through this. But as you can see on the screen, the Social Security Administration is collecting money back. In 2022, they were able to get $3.3 billion back in overpayments. And even with all that they've collected over the years, they are still owed $21.6 billion in overpayments that is still outstanding. That's why I told you the letters are going to come and continue to come, because a lot of people owe the Social Security Administration money. So those letters are going to continue to come. So here is the last wrinkle to this story. So remember the three people that were featured in the 60-minute story? Well, because 60 Minutes made a lot of noise, and remember, they all applied for an appeal, for a waiver, they were all denied. But once 60 Minutes made a lot of noise, the Social Security administration reversed decision and forgave all three their debt. So that is great. But then the question is, how about the other 1 million people who are going to be receiving these letters? What about them? What is going to happen to their overpayments? And we cannot really fail to recognize how, because these three got a powerful voice like 60 Minutes to back them up, their debt has been forgiven. But what about all the people that are there who do not have powerful voices advocating for them? So that is a question before the Social Security Administration that I think needs to be answered. So this is the overpayment situation that's happening with the Social Security Administration. And if you receive a letter, do not ignore it, because you still owe the money. And the best thing to do is file an appeal and file a waiver after your appeal is denied. And if all else fails, and you think you have a case, then you should get a hearing before a judge and get an attorney who can help you fight this. So that is all I have for Social Security overpayment. And then the last story, which is it's actually going to put some people in jail, because if there's nothing that irritates people in Congress more than hearing that lottery winners are on food stamps. That will make the news, and that is going to make a lot of people upset. And it's also negative publicity for people who actually need food stamps, people who actually need SNAP benefits, and some people are taking advantage of it and making a mess of the situation. So let's see what's happening here. And so this came from Fox News about fraud. And the government watchdog uncovered that over 65,000 people with substantial lottery winners since 2019 continue to collect food stamps, even when they were over the federal income threshold for the program. So I walk you through the income limits. And so these people have won lotteries, various amounts, and are still collecting food stamps, even though their income, because of the lottery win, would have pushed them over and out of food stamps program. So let's see the details here. So as I said, 65,000 people since 2019, and food stamp spending has doubled from $60 billion in 2019 to $120 billion last year. That's a big jump. And that's the reason why Congress is always making noise about food stamps, because the program, the price tag continues to go up. So every time there is something about budget cuts, the first thing they want to look at is food stamps, because it's easy. Because people on food stamps don't make enough noise, so they think they can continue to cut benefits. So what they realize is that people who were on food stamps illegally in 13 states were lottery winners from $4,250 to $2 million. That is the winning amount. And fewer than 400 lottery winners were removed from food stamps program, even though 65,000 people have won. And the food stamps program has, right now there are 41 million people enrolled, and that increased about 5 million since the pandemic. So if you've gotten a lottery win between 4,250 to 2 million, your asset resources limit is already over the limit. And so collecting food stamps, knowing that you are violating the law, could end you up in jail. So here are some details about it. It is being proposed that the Farm Bill, which is what the food stamps program is under, need to close this loophole. So there's a senator from Iowa who has put together a legislation called the Snapback Inaccurate SNAP Payment Act, and is aimed to reduce spending by $1 billion a month by counting all errors and ensuring illegible benefits are not distributed. So this is what Congress is planning to do to get out of this issue. One of the issues also is that states are not very good at catching lottery winners that are breaking the law. And because of the income eligibility that is so broad, people are able to slip through the system and collect food stamps when they are not supposed to. So what should be done? Well, states should actively police their food stamps program to make sure that people who are winning lotteries and other forms of financial gain are not still milking the system at the expense of people who actually need the help. One of the tragedies of this situation is that there are people, majority of people on food stamps, the overwhelming majority on food stamps actually need the help. They are working, they are not making enough money, and so they need extra help to be able to make ends meet. But then this is the kind of stories that the media grabs onto. And then it makes everybody on food stamps look bad, because then people have the perception that people on food stamps are all milking the system or gaming the system, when it's a very tiny few. There's 41 million people on food stamps and only 65,000 people won the lottery. So it's a very tiny fraction, but that is what makes the news. So if you are in this category, make sure you stop, because this could end up, putting you in jail, because it's illegal and the law doesn't look very friendly on people who do this. So that is all I have for you in terms of food stamps update for December. We're going to have another video coming out to give you more update, especially on the extra food stamp situation and the states that are continuing to approve benefits, and anything else that is going to come in the middle of the month. We'll make sure we bring it to you. So hit the subscribe button, and until we see you in the next video, thank you for watching.